What a sound that is. What a sound that is.
Very chill.
Yeah, launch spin was great. I mean, still, we're in that kind of lower toe quadrant that we've seen your strikes to be in, but nothing about that strike looked like it was slightly mishit. It just looked like it was perfect. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We are delighted to have a follower in for a fitting, Michael.
Love a follower fitting.
We definitely do. We have Andre joining us today. Andre, good to meet you.
Hello, how y'all doing?
We're good, thanks.
Very good.
A friend of a previous follower we've had in for a fit, Zach, who was in earlier this year and got some irons. Zach had reached out and said, I've got a buddy, really good player, or a
decent player.
Improving player.
Yeah, that's a better way.
With crazy high speed. And he thinks it would be, he said he thought it'd be a really good fit for the channel. So
cool.
Appreciate you making the time.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me.
Not at all.
Super
Tell us
excited.
a little bit about your golfing journey. How long have you been playing? Where's your game at right now?
Okay, so this is my 4th full season playing golf. I was a former baseball player, so I guess I've heard that translates well. Does add a little bit of variables in the mix as well, so excited to have y'all dial me in.
Okay. So you've got some Callaway Apex irons. They had a little incident with a backing up of a car and the irons, and some things happened and some shafts broke.
That's right, yeah, some shafts broke. I got a little crack in the head.
Yeah, seen that.
But yeah, they're still working, still chugging away.
Okay. And you were telling me a little bit about like big box retailer. You were in there, spoke to someone. Tell us a little bit about how you kind of came to pick these ones.
So yeah, I went in originally just looking for kind of like a starter set. I hadn't owned golf clubs before that, so I didn't really have a good baseline. And then someone suggested that I go through a couple, I guess, of the top line clubs at that time. And then we came down to this one, got them reshafted a couple years later after the incident happened. And yeah, they've been working decently. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to control, but nothing too extravagant as far as getting them in the bag.
Got it. Cool. Okay. So Dynamic Gold 120 X100s. Yep. They're 1 degree flat. You've got Lampkin Crossline mid-size grips on there. So yeah, nothing too crazy on the specs of them, but like you said, there's a hairline fracture in the heel of this one. Yes. Whether that was the car, I mean, to be honest, it could be. We've seen Andre hit a few warming up, got some speed.
He's fast.
Yeah. So that's an iron that's designed to comply or flex in order to produce ball speed is probably not what you need at this point. And at the point where you allow the face to flex, doing that too much and too often at too high of an impact, you're going to see those little fractures, occur from time to time. So this is probably a good time for you to be looking at irons and move away from that style of iron into something that's got a little bit more of a robust structure to it, Andre, and that's likely the direction we'll go today.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Why don't we why don't we see if you let's see your shot shape and see what's going on.
See how it goes.
Okay.
Oops.
So are you keeping a handicap right now, or
I do. Yeah, I do keep a handicap. So
where
it's
are you at?
3.5 right now.
Oh, within
4 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years. This is the 4th. That's impressive stuff.
Obviously, I still have some high rounds in there, but I guess the lower ones from the tips, it keeps it low, so.
I mean, there's a lot to like about your swing, your setup. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Have you taken many lessons, or are you kind of self-taught to this point?
Yeah, self-taught, Instagram.
Nice.
Right? Finding some tips on there.
Who are you following? Like, what accounts are you enjoying?
What are they? Colin McCarthy. He's a good one. He does like the whole individual body type kind of thing.
Yeah.
Watching pros, like I really like Cam Champ's golf swing.
Yeah.
I'll watch like Good and stuff the odd time, but they don't really do any lessons.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's just from random stuff, like trying to understand the mechanics of the golf swing, right? Like what path produces what shape. Keeping the club face square, all that stuff.
Sure.
And yeah, I try to just, I guess, take little pieces of what I learn and,
add it on, brick by brick onto your own game. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And is that, that last one shaping a little bit left, is that indicative of what you see?
Yeah, well, when I'm hitting it well, I'll shape it right to left. If I start to spray it a bit, it'll start going a bit to the right.
Okay.
But yeah, it's normally pushy hooky, so an in to out kind of action.
All right, let's see a few more. That was sweet. a little bit tighter in the ball flight there in terms of the curvature, which is good.
Little toey strike.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, there's, as we said with Andre, lots to like, but, you know, what we're kind of going to pick out today is a little bit of this variance on where the strikes occur, the patterns of, you know, the path and the angle attack are pretty solidly consistent, but obviously the face being the variable, the strike being the variable, dynamically toe down. So anytime you've got a rotating club face, open or close, you're going to have a rotating loft up and down. So we're going to kind of change launch and spin and speed a little bit. Club head speed's in the kind of 104 territory. The average PGA Tour player, Andre, with their 6-iron is about 93 miles an hour.
Wow.
So you've got speed and then some. Cool. So that's an advantage that down the line, once harnessed, will be a real, you know, great asset to have. Down the line, while you're trying to kind of minimize the variables, can be a little bit of a challenge.
Yes, yeah, it's definitely something I've noticed for sure.
So we've kind of got, I mean, blocks and sort of pull draws initially, a bit of a variance in height as well. So as important it is for us to look at the lateral dispersion, I really look at vertical dispersion a lot as well, because that tells a lot about the launch and spin control.
Right.
You know, if we just looked at your averages, we would be painting a pretty good picture. You know, launch, spin, speeds, good stuff. But, you know, we want that circle to be obviously much, much smaller. So the front, back, left, right dispersion is a heck of a lot tighter than that. Okay, let's get to work.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Andre. Club number 1. TaylorMade P7CBs. We've got some ACCRA 130s in there, I-Series red. Something a little bit stiffer, a little bit heavier. Played around with some different things. Actually giving you a fraction more loft. I don't want there to be, sometimes we'd see that the spin rate for you be a little bit on the low side. I want to try and kind of really condense that spin window, keep it around the 57, 5800 mark for you. It kind of relies right now on, see that ball going 21 yards right. It relies on an open face to get the spin where we want it. So let's hit a couple with this one, see what we get. Very good right
Nice
there.
flight.
Yeah.
Distant. Nice and straight.
Okay, a couple more. That was a great start. Love the numbers on that. You get a little bit less launch angle. Spin was still a tad on the low side, but we did kind of catch the strike a little in the low part of the head, but a lot to like about that flight.
Sounds so good.
Yeah.
That one felt better off the face too.
Good. So we're starting to kind of get it in that window like we were talking about. So we're going from a game improvement iron that's got tons of speed into something that really is not giving you any speed. You're providing the speed, it's providing the consistency. So that's why across the bottom here, the standard deviation numbers, they're actually more important for you, Andre, than what the averages are.
Right,
we want it to be doing it consistently. That's a really good start. Club head speeds have stayed the same. We were going to work towards getting that strike in a little bit, which is totally fine.
That peak height's a little bit more under control too.
Yeah. That one is, I mean, the first two, you know, you can kind of see the club doing what it's doing. That one was very much just quick hands. That was the flash hand speed of a baseball player. So that's okay. We don't, over time, you know, that the baseball player will become a golfer and you'll eliminate that.
Hopefully.
Okay, throw me that one back over. I'm going to make one, I'm going to give you a different club head. I'm going to change the spec of it. There, thank you. Grip size, how did that feel?
Felt good, yeah. It felt similar to the ones I got on right now, so.
All right, Andre, so we're going to keep the shaft consistent here. We're going to run through some different heads with you. I actually liked how you were timing that shaft. I think it's in a decent spot. But we're going to try T100 with you now. A head that's got some tungsten and forgiveness in there. I've actually brought the lie angle up a little bit as well. I want to see, because you're not that steep, you're not a huge divot taker, I want to see if we can get that toe out the ground a little bit. There was a couple I could kind of hear the early entry of the toe just because it was it was kind of coming in a little bit too much toe down.
Right.
So I've just made the lie angle a bit more upright. Let's see what
nice.
that does. I want to make sure it doesn't make the ball go too much to the left. That's
Okay.
all. That's the one.
Flushed.
That is the one right there.
Give me 10 of those. That sounded so good.
Yeah, see, I tried consciously to compress that one a little more.
Another nice one. And you could hear it wasn't quite as hit as the first one, but really good. I like the direction of it.
Doesn't want to drift left or right, just
No.
nice and straight.
One of the things I love about it, we were seeing this, toe down, and you can kind of lean into that a little bit, especially if you've got a left miss and with the lie angle, but I never want to give away contact for the lie angle. I want to make sure your contact's always good, and when you're 5 degrees toe down, you're going to kind of, to be honest, you're not going to get the contact as good as we want. You've moved your angle of attack slightly steeper, your path is more neutral, and you're now delivering less dynamic loft. So this golf club has 30 degrees of loft, you're delivering just under 24. That's much more what we want. A little bit forward shaft lean. You said it right, you feel you compressed it.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
compression is. Compression isn't hitting down more, compression is leaning the face more and getting more energy out of the strike, which you're getting in terms of the efficiency.
Goes up.
Awesome. Launch and spin. You're getting a bit more spin, but we've got tons of distance out of this one. Nice and tight. Okay, give me 2 more and then we'll switch out. But I mean, it's kind of the numbers we want, isn't it? Right
Winner,
there.
winner, yeah.
Not bad. Just started a bit left, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not turning too much.
Yeah, see, with the other clubs, that ball, like the feeling of the swing, it's just 40, 50 yards left.
Yeah, and so the reason why we're at a head like this, Andre, is when you make a swing like that where the face gets a little bit shut,
Yeah.
so 4 degrees shut relative to your path, those can get away from you. But with a head like this and you're retaining some spin, it's not going to be nearly as big of a miss. Like 17 yards left, in all honesty, from 205 yards is not that big of a miss at all. So as long as you've got some spin and we're not getting that ball really curving, excessively, we can manage your misses, really, really nicely. So I'm really happy to see that dynamic lie angle stay where that is now, which is about 1.5 down.
Yeah.
So that's a slightly more upright lie angle than where you were in before.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so let's switch into some other shafts. Okay, so we're going to stick in that head. We like how that's performing at that spec, lie angle, just everything about that's good. Keeping a little bit more spin on it. What we're going to flip into a Project X65.
Change it up.
Yeah, a little bit of a different weight profile in this one, Andre. The shaft we were in there has the same kind of mid and tip section as this shaft. It just has a slightly different handle, so you'll feel it slightly differently. And it also is 5 grams heavier. This is 5 grams lighter now, but has a stiffer butt section. So hit a few, let's see what we get with that.
That felt hot.
Hammered.
Roasted.
But there's a spin.
Yeah.
It's hammered so that the first part of the flight is hot, then the spin takes over.
6100,
and
wow.
it holds it. It's great. It's exactly what you want. Again, just like the first one you hit, this T100 head is so good for you. See, dynamic.
efficiency go up.
Look at that, though.
Yeah.
Different shaft.
Interesting.
Toe down. Okay, couple more. Nice. Set it out, and it's kind of trying to come back, and that's where if this one is dynamically more toe down, it's actually hurting us a little bit.
Strike's cleaned up a
Good.
little bit.
Yeah, starting to come.
Ooh.
Okay, so back to the ACCRA shaft. We were just kind of noticed that when we came out of the ACCRA shaft and we stayed in the exact same head, and this is just the kind of things with club fitting that really sometimes maybe don't make sense, but we've got exactly the same lie angle, but it dynamically came out very different for you. It was much more toe down with the Project X shaft in the T100 head. So we're going to go back to the 130, and we're actually putting the Mizuno 243. So again, nice head, profile-wise, I'm sure kind of still looks nice to the eye.
Oh, yeah.
but it's going to fly a little bit lower for you, this one.
Okay.
That sounded much more like you.
Yeah, that was hit better.
Really, we're kind of looking at this one as the benchmark right now, the T100 with the ACCRA 130.
Okay.
You know, we talked a little bit about trying to get that spin rate down just a touch. We have brought it down literally just a touch. Yeah, like a lot of that face is staying closer to the path, which is going to help us with the start line. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a pretty picture on the bottom right here in terms of what the face and path are doing. Really, really good to see. Okay, let's see a few more. It sounds like you're catching this one high in the head. Like,
Yeah.
it's not in the meat of the strike.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's less consistency with this head over the T1.
Yeah.
All that weight low helps out with the miss too.
Let's pop that other one back on there for you.
Okay.
All right, we're coming back around the block here. We're coming back to the T1 100 with the ACCRA 130. It's a good combo for you. It really is, Andre. It's a very, very, consistent combo. Just something about the strike with that. There's a little bit more bounce on that 243, and I think with the kind of whatever low point is for Andre, it was causing that heavy strike. So not ideal. Let's see a few of this.
So good.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if that was your best strike.
No, it's a bit like thinny, kind of.
But that's the point,
Thank you,
isn't it?
Tungsten. Yeah, thank you, Titleist.
That's
6,300 spin.
That's what we want. Okay, let me play with the loft 1 degree. I'm going to knock it down one. I want to just bring that spin a little bit lower. Strong. Covering 200 really nicely.
Such a good iron. Efficiency's pretty good.
Good. It's just the only reason spins up in loft is
Face
up
is
is because
open.
face is open.
Yeah.
So let's hit a couple more. We'll kind of tighten up those numbers a little bit, but we're right in the sweet spot right now. You're delivering it really good. So we've got that dynamic loft under control, 1.2, 23.7 dynamic loft, which is good. We've got good compression going into it. I think golf ball choice is going to be important for you as well.
Yeah.
I think we're going to kind of make sure we send you off with the right golf balls to use. What do you play right now? Are you specific about what you play yet?
Nothing that I prefer, but I do notice when I hit higher spin balls that they kind of balloon sometimes. So I try to stay away from those ones, like the Pro V1Xs and the Kirkland's even. They're pretty spinny,
Definitely. I would stick to standard black numbered Pro V1.
Yeah, that's
a great
honestly what
ball
I
for you.
prefer the most. And I like the TP5s and the TP5Xs as well. But
That firm core, that higher compression core, that can get a little high on you. Just as you produce more velocity, you'll get the launch a little bit higher.
Right.
Just think about if we were to take a fully inflated basketball and a deflated basketball, bounce them off the ground, that's going to be like launch angle off the club face. So the inflated basketball will launch initially higher than the slightly softer basketball. That's how you got to think about your launch angle. You want it to come out slightly lower window with a little bit less spin. Now that we've got the loft up a little bit, that would be good for you.
Okay.
I was striped.
That is spinning a lot, though. It's sitting nicely.
Yeah.
So this is heavier and stiffer. I'm
Yeah.
guessing? Okay.
Well, a little bit heavier. I mean, just a couple of grams, but it's quite significantly stiffer than what you've played so far. So
Cool.
let's see what if this is a step too far. If the ACCRA is a nice blend. Of the shafts we've tried a Project X, we've tried now a True Temper. The ACCRA is those two shafts basically combined.
Okay.
So let's see if this is good.
Wow.
What a sound that is. What a sound that is.
Stripe show.
Yeah, launch spin was great. I mean, still, we're in that kind of lower toe quadrant that we've seen your strikes to be in, but nothing about that strike looked like it was slightly mishit. It just looked like it was perfect.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't get that much better in terms of feeling, I think. So I guess off the toe for me feels like in the middle of the face, but.
Okay.
Another one of those.
We're done, folks.
Ta-ta, ACCRA.
Thanks for coming. Great spin. Ball speed's good.
These numbers are so perfect. Really, really ideal. You're really starting to see the consistency of what you're kind of capable of now, and that's the enjoyable thing as a club fitter when we work with someone who's maybe new to the game but has lots of qualities that we know will make them a really good players. When we get it right and we get the club in their hands, they'll start to see a consistency. They're like, oh, like I'm actually pretty good and pretty consistent. What I do is not as variable as I thought it was. If we look at your original numbers sort of versus where we've got you at now, you know, it's just massively different, isn't it? Like you've picked up with an iron that is significantly weaker in loft.
Not game improvement.
Not game improvement at all.
Heavier shaft.
Picked up a little bit of distance. We've tightened it massively. Yeah, I mean, your impact conditions are so good. You lean in the shaft more. You're less toe down.
It's so good.
It's good in every which way.
That last bunch of shots were, I mean, they sounded perfect.
Yeah, that's what we need. I'm glad we done one last try and brought you kind of into the more stable family. Just if we can take the bending, the kick, the consistency, and can increase it like that, and maybe take out the variance of the shaft and what it offers. It seems like you respond well to something that feels like you said really stable in the hand.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some of the other ones where maybe I had a little bit too much play in them.
Yeah,
and they were stiff shafts as well.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Not like
this is perfect.
Beautiful.
Should we do one more?
One for the road?
Yeah, one for the road.
I was only editing there.
If only it was that easy from 200 yards, eh?
Jeez, oh, perfect.
But you know, and those are a little bit kind of, obviously there's some misses in there. We spoke at the start about trying to kind of get that consistency, that kind of tightness in the apex. It's so much better now than it was. I mean, even with some of the T100s, to be fair, the kind of high-low was a little bit much. I mean, I wouldn't have been unhappy with the ACCRA 130s. I'll say that. I would not have been unhappy, but we are...
Timing-wise, these X7s have just cleaned up a lot.
That's it. That's what we're looking at right there. It's just, there's a little bit less left. I like actually a hair less spin, because I think on the golf course that spin could creep a little bit. So we're buying a little bit of space for that to happen. I'm excited for it. You put in a set of irons into the bag that will enhance your game that much more and really kind of elevate you towards becoming a scratch golfer and beyond.
I mean, just with this in my hands, I feel like there's less variation, you know, and less wiggle and more, you know, feel from it, so.
The T-Series family from TITLEIST, really easy family to combo up. I would probably combo the set into some T150 longer irons, maybe the 4 and the 5 or something like that, give you a little bit more forgiveness, especially if you do straight out to the toe and you've got forced carry from maybe 215 or 220, that type of thing. I think the T150 is a long iron option, you know, could be really, really good for you as well. Just, and guys, our I guess, tendency to recommend a combo set will be on things like where we see the strike occur. And if we see that just centered every time, we don't really need to play too much with a combo set, but we still see that strike varying towards the toe, and that's something we think we could improve with something a little bit more forgiving like T150.
Good point.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Good. Awesome. Good job.
Well, yeah, thank you guys so much.
Really good stuff, Andre.
Yeah.
All right, guys, obviously a different type of fit with somebody who's got some serious speed. But whether it's fast, whether it's a bit slower, we're still dealing with the same amount of variables. Turf interaction, strike point, face control, making sure we take out the misses. Can we get the start line right and tighten it towards the fall line from the top of the apex down? It's the same stuff.
Totally.
It really is the same stuff. So hopefully you guys can see a little bit of our process. And you know, we're in and out different heads, different shafts there. We didn't play around an awful lot with Andre there, because I think the 130 ACCRA got us into a really good spot early, as did the T100.
Totally, yeah.
So we felt like the numbers we were looking for were kind of established early on. Like I said, I keep talking about, it's just tightening the screws. You know, once we've got ourselves down that right path, it's just about, you know, getting it dialed.
I'm glad you tried the last shaft just to see.
just to see. And there's always worth as a fitter for any young fitters or fitters of any level watching out there. It's always good to throw a good to see in there, especially if you're not running high in the quota of shots. If you're in an iron fit and you're 70, 80 shots in,
it's a lot.
You don't want to be hitting one just to see because you're running the energy levels down. But if you've got loads of energy left, and Andre certainly did, it's worth it just to see.
Cool.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the fit. We really enjoy the follower fittings. It's one of the most successful, one of the most enjoyable series we've had on the channel this year. And thanks to you guys for the great comments on it, and love to hear your thoughts and encouragement for Andre as he gets his game improved. Coming into year 5, it's amazing to think that you've only been playing for less than 4 years and you're already got such potential. It's really, really great to see. So keep the comments encouraging, and support Andre and what's to come in his golf life. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.